Café and Networking Podcast promotes entrepreneurs, startups, authors, business experts throughout the world. Available on all major podcast platforms. I'm Tom Reaoch, an American known as the King of Networking, connecting people and speaking from my studio in Campinas, São Paulo, Brazil. Today we talk with Tyler Foley, and he's joining us from Calgary in Canada. Tyler is a multi-dimensional communication specialist, public speaker, speaker trainer, virtual stage coach, and author of the book, The Power to Speak Naked, available on Amazon, with advice on how to speak with confidence, communicate effectively, and win your audience. Tyler, in face-to-face or virtual settings, how can I engage or re-engage with an audience?
And that's an excellent question, Tom. Really, the key is the word itself, engage. Reach out and talk to your audience, invite or solicit their participation. It's a misconception that as a speaker, that you need to fill up the entire time you're given. In the 5 minutes that you and I are going to have to chat, I hope it's a conversation and not a monologue.
Right.
In that you and I will discuss things, and you can do that with your audience. Ask them questions. Invite their participation, and that is how you're going to most effectively not only engage your audience, but keep them engaged, keep them interested, because they can then direct the content that you are providing.
And try to breathe while you do that.
If you can, yes. It never looks good when a speaker passes out on stage.
Or you don't breathe and just speak so fast that nobody can pick up what you're saying.
Well, and it's amazing how many speakers forget that breath is really one of the most important and critical aspects. There are two things that I always have on stage: a glass of water and time to myself so that I can breathe.
Right.
And it's amazing when you do ask your audience what they're feeling or how they or what information they're looking for, how the information you're providing is resonating with them. That gives you that chance to breathe. It gives you the opportunity to check in with your audience, and it allows you to course correct, because I know I have given presentations where the audience hasn't understood or hasn't taken away what I expected them to. And by checking in with them, then you can course correct and say, well, it's curious that you feel that way. This is actually what I had hoped to present. And your takeaway is very interesting. Let's explore that.
Right. But, and really to the point, you are also a global speaker, as I am. And obviously you're Canadian speaking in English. I'm an American speaking in English. But the majority of people in this world speak English as a second language. And so really they understand or they absorb at a different velocity.
Yeah, and I'm limited in my ability to communicate in other languages. I come from a country that claims to be bilingual, but I didn't learn French until the 9th grade, and I still wouldn't say that I learned it. I absorbed the majority of my French learning when I actually moved to Quebec in order to for work, and that really, it was the immersion that allowed me to pick up at least a little bit conversational French and be able to read. But I can't converse very well in French, and it's the exact same thing. If I'm listening to a speaker in another language that I may have a small understanding of, Portuguese, for example, I'd love to come down to São Paulo, but I have a hard time conversing outside of my native tongue.
Well, you're welcome anytime you want to come, and you don't really have to talk that much to be friendly here. So, but to your book that you've just put out, basically, The Power to Speak Naked. You don't actually get on stage and take off your clothes, do you?
I actually have once, and it was because one gentleman, I had a heckler from the audience who essentially dared me to. He wouldn't leave me alone and kept saying, "Hey, naked boy, take off your clothes." So I actually arranged the opportunity for us to go back to that stage. I always get a venue with a second date booked for insurance. And so I did have the venue available to me the following week, and we actually put it on as a charity for the local food bank there, which was a fantastic thing to do. We had everybody come back. They paid a significant premium to see me do it naked, but I did actually go and do a presentation naked, mostly to prove that I practice what I preach. I really want people to be so confident in their messaging and believe so strongly in what they have to say that what they're wearing doesn't matter.
I agree
and
with you
that you can go
because we're there to
right?
hear, right? That's it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the audience was probably more awkward than I was. So after about the 5-minute point, and they've kind of gotten over the gimmick of it all, I did stand behind the podium to save them the uncomfortable view of my stark naked white body. And I glow under the lights.
Well, and we need to be a good speaker. You have to have a glow.
Mm-hmm.
You have to shine. So that's what the book will bring to people to learn. It's great confidence and learn to communicate effectively.
Yes, the idea behind the book is to strip down the barriers, pardon the pun,
right,
to public speaking, and to give somebody the confidence to understand that their story matters, that they can go up and it doesn't. The reality is we're not afraid to public speak. Right. Or commerce would collapse. You'd never have been able to go to a restaurant if you were afraid of public speaking. The reality is we're afraid of public judgment. And this book helps you break through the barriers of fearing that judgment and rather embracing the chance to spread your message and have impact. And that's really the key.
Great. And our audience can find that on Amazon.
Yeah, it's available on Amazon and in local bookstores. It's available in over 130 countries based on what my publisher tells me. And
also I see that you offer you've created a speaker community, right?
Yes, particularly now that the world has kind of made it hard to travel back and forth, and we had a lot of people who did still want to work with me, and there's been a push to learn more how to present virtually. Mm-hmm. We've created a free Facebook group called Endless Stages, which is nice because it's worldwide. We can have a global audience now, and anybody from anywhere in the world can join. And I go live every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and give a 20-minute training tip each week so that anybody who wants to learn can learn for free, learn from anywhere that they want. We put a replay up so that they can watch it on demand on their timeline.
Very good.
And we just want to make it really accessible so that if they can't get the book, or if they really like the book and want to learn more, this allows them the opportunity to do that.
Great. And how can they access that?
Go to either the link that I will have provided to you. They can find it on my website, which is SeanTylerFoley.com, spelled SeanTylerFoley.com, or they can search it on Facebook. Just look for Endless Stages and ask to join the group.
Very good. Well, Sean, I want to thank you, and it's either Sean or Tyler or Sean Tyler, for being with us today and sharing your information.
Oh, it was my absolute joy and pleasure, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Hope to have you back, okay? And for our audience, reminding you again that you can find this information about Tyler. The free speaker community is www.stages.SeanTylerFoley.com. And the book, The Power to Speak Naked, you'll find that on Amazon. Café and Network is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil, and more information about them on www.focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.